that we have for you guys where we're going to be talking about all of the films nominated at the Oscars on February 28th, as well as some of the performances nominated in the acting categories. We know that this year, 2015, has just seen a plethora of amazing films nominated. So tonight, for our inaugural episode, we are going to talk about the 4 of the 8 films nominated for Best Picture. So Ayesha, let's get right started and talk about Room. Now, just to give the folks at home an idea about what the film is about, Room is a story about a woman who is held captive for nearly a decade in a tiny shed converted into a living space where she lives with her 5-year-old son, played by Jacob Tremblay. The mom is played by Brie Larson. And she plans to break away from their captor after a daring escape. The mother and son are thrown back into society after years of isolation and struggle to adjust to life outside of the room. Mm-hmm. Now, I know we saw this recently. Did we see it together?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of feelings after we saw this. It was an outstanding movie. Ayesha, tell me, what did you think about it?
So, this movie was just like a combination of just loving like storytelling and just outstanding performances. It also explores a lot of like motherhood and the innocence of a child, and I fell in love with this movie instantly. Yeah. And Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
She definitely deserved her Golden Globe.
Yeah, she won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Drama, and she also recently was the Critics' Choice Awards, and she won Best Actress at the Critics' Choice Awards. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are saying that she's like a lock to win Best Actress, rightfully so, because she was amazing. In this one. And I know you had a lot of thoughts about it because you like had so many, thoughts about it. Yeah. You jotted down some notes.
I know.
I don't know if you had any additional things to say. Because so much stuff was going on in your head.
I loved Brie Larson's performance.
Right.
Mostly.
Very
it was
raw.
At the same time.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, it was very raw. It was great.
Yeah, and it's so great how, you rarely see a film where it's like a sole female lead performance. Mm-hmm. And I know you could say that the boy was also a lead actor. Did you think he was more lead or supporting in the film? Jacob Tremblay. Like, even though he's young, I feel like people in Hollywood have been devaluing him as, a supporting just because he's a young kid.
Yeah, but like much of Room is about Jacob's character exploring this new world that he didn't know of. He never saw a leaf falling from a tree. He never felt the warmth of the sun.
He was the narrator of the film.
Yeah,
so it's like it's centered on him.
I would say that he is the lead.
Like co-lead with Brie.
And he did an outstanding job also.
Right.
Because I was very surprised he didn't get nominated for a Golden Globe. That was very shocking for me.
Right. And he's nominated at the SAG Awards for Best Supporting Actor. But what I see wrong is that the studio during the award season have been campaigning him for Supporting Actor, which I see as wrong. And I just think that they're only doing it because he's young.
Yeah.
And if he was older, they would be campaigning him for Lead Actor.
Definitely.
But he was amazing in it. Brie Larson was just stunning in it. Like, she was in, 21 Jump Street a few years ago. She was in a little indie film called Short Term 12. And she worked a lot with kids then, so she's had experience working with young people.
Absolutely.
And there was talk about her being nominated for an Oscar for that performance. It didn't come to fruition, but for this movie it is. And it's just a great film across the board. Do you have any additional thoughts?
I think we're good with this.
We're good?
Yeah, do you have
any? Well, I just want to, it's nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress.
It's well-deserved.
And Best Screenplay. And to me, it is one of those films that I think reached the level of greatness. Like, to be honest, 2015 has been a somewhat average year in films. There's been a lot of films nominated. Compared to all the other years. And I think Room is the exception where it reached that level of excellence.
It was a very fresh movie.
Very fresh. And to me, it was this year's Whiplash, where it was like that little engine that
That's what I was thinking, too.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's just that, like, little movie that no one at first, when it came out, no one heard about it. But over the last few months, it picked up steam.
Yeah.
And now, once you see it, it's a movie where it's hard to watch because it's not that accessible. But once people see it, they love it.
Yeah.
Because it tells that story.
Yeah, it's as beautiful as it's tragic, but it's inspiring, but it's still...
Right.
It's like the way the story is told, it's very beautifully
Very
put together.
beautiful. Very, very beautiful. and I always say that if a movie does its job, which is touching the audience emotionally and conveying emotions that you
it's done something right.
It's done something right. If you feel for the characters in the film, then that film has been successful. And that's what that film did.
It really did.
Literally, like, one of the best films of the year, honestly.
Honestly.
So that's our first one.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Obviously our favorite.
It's obviously our favorite. So why go on? No, but obviously there have been other movies like Brooklyn. Now let's talk about Brooklyn.
We saw Brooklyn together.
We saw Brooklyn together. It was one of the few films we saw together. A lot of them we see separately. No, but this one we saw together at the ArcLight in Hollywood.
Yes.
So Brooklyn tells the profoundly moving story of Eilish Lacey, played by Saoirse Ronan, who is really a Irish actress. She plays a young Irish immigrant navigating her way through 1950s Brooklyn. Lured by the promise of America, Eilish departs Ireland and the comfort of her mother's home for the shores of New York City. The initial shackles of homesickness quickly diminish as a fresh romance sweeps Eilish into the intoxicating charm of love. But soon, her new vivacity is disrupted by her past, and Eilish must choose between two countries and the lives that exist within. So this, I thought, was very much like Room. Obviously, like as far as the storyline, it had nothing to do with Room.
This movie was very.
But they both had those young female leads that were very stunning and very, appealing to the audience. So, your thoughts on that film?
Well, it shows just the hardship someone has coming to a new country and just fitting into a new environment, which the lead actress did, and she conveyed her emotions very, very nicely in the movie.
And one other thing I really loved about her performance too was the fact that she was very, what's that word where you're like closed up? She was very shy. She was very timid throughout the whole film. And she really didn't show emotions, unlike other performances this year, like Brie Larson in Room, who really conveyed a wide variety of emotions. Saoirse Ronan, her character, Eilish, very closed up. But that spoke volumes to the overwhelming atmosphere that she felt when she came to America.
As she was slowly fitting in,
she was slowly
had
fitting
this
in.
confidence that just sparked it right out of her.
Exactly. And you did see a slow, you did see her evolve and become a more open person.
Definitely.
And a more, just out there person, being in America. You could tell that America changed her.
Oh yeah. And like her making decisions of if she wants to stay back home at Ireland or come back to America, and it just showed a lot of like independence.
Right, because
her.
Come back to America because
so,
in the film she
living
went
in
back
America,
to Ireland.
She knew like, wow, I'm gonna make my own decisions, and she did it. And I think that movie was perfectly captured for like any other immigrant that comes to America and how they face struggle of like fitting in or anything. Right. It was very nicely told.
Right. And just going back to just her performance specifically, Saoirse Ronan, and she's nominated for Best Actress too.
Yeah, this is her second nomination.
Second nomination. Yeah, she was nominated when she was like 13 or 14
for
the film
Atonement.
with Keira Knightley.
Yeah,
that was
very great movie.
But she was great in this movie, taking on the helm of a leading actress. And just like what I said before, you can really tell that she was so mesmerized by America, and that it
was overwhelming.
You could tell that she was overwhelmed, and that it was an atmosphere that she was not accustomed to, and that she had some getting used to. And it was just, a very nice period romance story, because you had romance laced into that too with, an Italian guy. So you had like some nice cross-national.
That was a cute romance.
It was very cute because it was like cross-national love. Like you had someone like
different
from
cultures
different cultures come together. Like I love the scene when, she visited like his family, and it was like new for her, like to be around
Italian.
Really
funny. She was trying to eat her spaghetti.
Well, let's not give too much away for the audience. But it's funny. It's sad. It's very sad, as you know, for someone to leave their family and move to a new country. It's very sad. So it's just a bunch of emotions laced into one. And it was just.
But there's like a deep sense of warmth throughout the whole movie.
Absolutely. And it's really a film that, someone of all ages could see. Like, it wasn't that, inappropriate. Like, it was just a very great love story.
It was a great love story. I think it was mainly a love story.
It was a love story first. I agree with you in that respect. So yeah, so let's now move on to another film that we absolutely loved, which has another great leading performance by Leonardo DiCaprio. I know you love this movie. I know you love Leonardo DiCaprio in general. So let's talk about The Revenant. The Revenant is inspired by true events, where it tells the story of an epic story about survival and transformation. While on an expedition to the uncharted American wilderness, legendary explorer Hugh Glass is brutally attacked by a bear, then left for dead by members of his own hunting team. Glass, refusing to succumb and driven by sheer will and his love for his wife and son, undertakes a 200-mile journey through a gauntlet of dangers on the trail of the man who betrayed him, John Fitzgerald, who is played by Tom Hardy. Now, both Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy, which was a surprise. Not many people thought that Tom Hardy was gonna be nominated at the Oscars.
I remember when I texted you, I was like, oh my God, Tom Hardy was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Exactly, because you didn't see him show up at the SAG Awards. You didn't see him show up at the Golden Globe Awards. You didn't see him show up at these precursor award shows that usually people would give momentum. So it was seen as a little bit of a surprise, and it just shows to you how much the Academy loved the film then, since they gave it to Tom Hardy. Leo obviously was expected he would be nominated. Of course. So tell me, what do you think of another movie we saw together?
Yeah, we actually watched The Revenant, and we went for a screening, and right after the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio came in with the director and the boy who plays his son, and also
Will Poulter, who's a member of the little hunting gang that they are in. So what do you think of the film?
That movie was first of all, the cinematography was incredible. Like, all the locations were so beautifully set, and it was like man versus nature, and it was amazing. Each frame would probably be a painting because it was just so beautiful.
Right. And the cinematography it was Emmanuel Lubezki. And if that name doesn't sound familiar, he's the same person that also did Alejandro Iñárritu's previous film from last year, Birdman. He did the cinematography for Birdman. And the year before, he did the cinematography for Gravity. And he won Best Cinematography at the Academy Awards for Gravity and for Birdman back-to-back. And people are saying 3 years in a row he's going to get it for The Revenant. And it was like, of those three films, The Revenant's, like, the photography in that film was just stunning. It was stunning. And the angles that they would have it at, where they would have it point up to the trees, they used natural light. Natural light. It wasn't artificial. It was very real in that sense, where not just putting performances aside, where, that stuff, the photography of the film, where every frame of that film was done naturally and in a real sense. And it was just stunning. The angles that they would have the camera in conveying the troubles and tribulations that Leonardo DiCaprio had to go through on his journey.
You can see the actors struggling, like, doing their performances.
And that's more of the part of the director, too, Alejandro, where the cool angles where they would have it right up against their face. Did you have any other thoughts on the film?
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio's performance was very incredible.
And,
with not much dialogue.
Not much dialogue,
but
because of the bear attack.
Yeah,
I think everyone knows about the bear attack.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a spoiler.
Everyone talks about it.
It happens right there in the first 20 minutes.
I mean, the bear did show up at the Golden Globes, remember?
I remember that. Jonah Hill was really good as the bear.
But yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio's performance was very incredible. Even though he didn't have much dialogue, you could see the struggle that he goes through trying to live to get revenge for who killed his son. And it was just like his journey in man versus wild, and just his need to survive. And it was, I think he was well deserved in the Oscar nomination and the Golden Globe.
He won the Golden Globe.
Yeah, he won the Golden
for Best
Globe,
Actor. So yeah, and you know what? this is his 6th nomination. Everyone, on social media, like, oh,
Everyone's
he's
like,
never
when is
won.
Leo gonna win an Oscar? When
Guys,
is it gonna happen?
it's gonna be this year.
It's
gonna be this year.
I
Everyone,
promise you.
just go online. All of the pundits, everyone in the industry are whispering to people around town, this is his year. He's gonna get it this year. This is gonna be it. He's gonna get the Oscar this year.
I made a promise to my dad. I was like, if Leo does not win an Oscar this year, I'm never watching the Oscars again.
No, I mean, Leo's gonna get it this year. I told you before that if Johnny Depp was nominated, he might have been able to give Leo a run for his money.
Such a shocker.
It was a shocker because Black Mass was great. Well, now we're drifting from the topic. No, but it's fine. But I told you on a couple occasions that if Johnny Depp got in and was nominated against Leo, Johnny Depp might have been able to give Leo a run for his money because Johnny could say, hey, I've been nominated too for a lot of Oscars. I've never won. I've been in the industry more than Leo has. So if he got in, Johnny, I could have pictured a scenario where Johnny Depp could have upset, but Johnny's not nominated. It's like everything's pointing to Leo. And, the people he's up against in the Best Actor race, you have some good performances. We'll talk about this in later episodes, but you have Michael Fassbender and Steve Jobs, who is just incredible. You have Bryan Cranston in Trumbo, who just totally transformed into that character, the screenwriter Dalton Trumbo. You have Matt Damon in The Martian, who was great. We'll talk about that in a minute. And who's the last nominee? Eddie Redmayne in the Danish Girl.
The Danish Girl.
He won last year. He just won last year. So I don't think they'll give it.
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie needs to calm down. But I don't think he'll get it. Bryan Cranston, he's new to movies. Matt Damon, that underperformed because The Martian didn't get a Best Director nomination. And then you have Michael Fassbender. I don't know. The buzz surrounding that movie, Steve Jobs, has kind of died out because it came out a little early. So
but it's still like
it's still a great film that we'll
of
talk
the,
about
like, in this year.
Of the year.
Yeah.
You saw Steve Jobs?
I have.
Oh, I didn't know that. We're talking about Steve Jobs. Yeah, we need to catch up. We'll have a conversation after. But all signs are pointing to Leonardo DiCaprio. 6 nominations, 0 wins, has been nominated. First nomination was like 23 years ago for one seat in Gilbert Grape. So all signs are pointing to him. Any critique about the movie at all? Anything that, I know we didn't bring this up for Rumor Brooklyn, but for The Revenant specifically, did you have any critique about it? Any confusion? Any shortcomings of the film at all? Because I had one.
You had?
I had one.
Let's
okay.
hear it.
So one critique I had about the movie, and I had to go online to investigate it because I was really confused, was what the deal was with his wife, girlfriend, whatever. And there were a lot of moments in the film where there would be flashbacks. And it would be very confusing what was going on. I didn't really know the situation well. They kept on bringing up a character named Pawaka. I don't know if that was his wife or if that was just some other woman. I realized in investigating, I was able to clear it up, but it took me having to research about the movie afterwards, and that's not really what a movie should do. A movie shouldn't leave you feeling confused, and that's the one slight criticism I have about it. I mean, other than that, it was just a visionary masterpiece, acting triumph with Tom Hardy and Leonardo DiCaprio. Direction, Alejandro knows how to direct. Outstanding.
He really stepped up his game for Birdman.
And last year for Birdman, remember how it looked like it was all one shot, no takes? Now for this movie, it wasn't like that.
It wasn't, but he did try.
There were little pockets of moments throughout the film where it would be a nice extending take. Like I remember the opening scene with the natives were coming in.
Oh yeah, the whole war scene.
And the war scene in the opening. And there was that moment. It was like a little snippet, extended period of time where you remembered about Birdman. Yeah. And it showed Alejandro do a nice little extended.
It was like his signature.
It's his signature. I think first with Birdman, now with Revenant, everyone knows. Here comes Alejandro with his little, camera.
He has a
180s.
Very great eye for cinematography.
Very, very well. That's Emmanuel Lubezki does cinematography.
But he did direct the cinematography.
Very great direct. Yeah, exactly. So we did see little pockets of that here and there with his nice 180s, which is very good because when he does that direction, you just feel like you're in the film. Like you just gain a sense of the environment of the film and where you are and the location and what's going on all around the events happening. He really
captures the whole image.
He captures the big picture. It's the big picture in Alejandro's mind, and he conveys that through the screen
Absolutely.
to the audience. Great. But yeah, besides that little critique I had where it was just a little confusing.
I think a lot of people were confused by that too. Also the end, but I don't want to spoil anything.
We don't want to spoil. No, so, we are not. We hate spoilers.
We're not going to spoil
anything. That. I hate that.
So, if you guys watch the movie and you guys get confused by anything,
just go online.
Just go online.
You shouldn't have to go online, but just go online. And it was 2.5 hours.
Just to get like a fresher look on, you know, the whole story and also like things you don't understand.
Right.
That was in the movie.
Which shouldn't be happening in the first place because the movie should be able to just like be clear about it. But maybe if you see it 2 or 3 times, like then you'll like get it.
Okay.
Because sometimes you realize things in the second time around that you didn't see those things the first time you saw the movie. So that's what I would say about that movie. So Revenant, great film. Third film nominated for Best Picture. Let's move on to the next film nominated for Best Picture, which is also a Fox, 20th Century Fox picture. It's called The Martian. The Martian starring Matt Damon. It's a great cast because it has Matt Damon, who's in the film pretty much by himself for the whole film. Yeah. He kind of does I told you about this, he kind of does that Tom Hanks effect in Castaway. And Tom Hanks was nominated for Best Actor for Castaway. And Matt Damon was kind of also like Sandra Bullock in Gravity.
We'll get into that.
We'll talk about, okay. Let's talk about The Martian. Now, during a manned mission to Mars, astronaut Mark Watney, played by Mark Damon, is presumed dead after a fierce storm and left behind by his crew. But Watney has survived and finds himself stranded and alone on the hostile planet. With only meager supplies, he must draw upon his ingenuity, wit, and spirit to subsist and find a way to signal to Earth that he is alive. Millions of miles away, NASA and a team of international scientists work tirelessly to bring the Martian home, while his crewmates concurrently plot a daring, if not impossible, rescue mission. As these stories of bravery unfold, the world comes together to root for Watney's safe return. So, The Martian came out. It was one of also the earlier films that came out this season. It came out in early October. It did really well at the box office.
It did.
Directed by Ridley Scott, who, very surprised, did not get in for Best Director. And before the nominations were announced, everyone thought that he would win, let alone just be nominated. So that was a shocker. So what do you think about The Martian?
The Martian,
and like Matt Damon's performance.
Well, Matt Damon did win a Golden Globe for his performance, so it's like leading up for the Oscars, like Matt Damon maybe versus Leonardo DiCaprio for Best Actor for the Oscars.
That could be a preview.
Yeah, but I think Matt Damon's performance was very nice.
It was fine.
It was fine. Yeah. I think what really intrigued his performance was his isolation. How he had to play being alone on a planet, surviving the crazy weather that they have with no supplies. You know, it shows like how he just was a survivor, and he was.
And he was trying to utilize the resources that he had with him to try to, keep living, because he really didn't have communication with the people back at Earth. So it was a story of survival. Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, Matt Damon obviously succeeded in being, taking on, the leading helm in this film, and he really succeeded in holding it together. But to me, and I don't know if you have anything to say about this, but to me, I felt like it wasn't that physical, emotional, mental transformation that actors usually do to get awards consideration. To me, I just felt like throughout the whole film, I was just thinking it was Matt Damon. I wasn't thinking it was astronaut Mark Watney. I was just thinking it was Matt Damon playing Matt Damon on Mars. Like, I didn't really think it was,
I know what you're saying,
like when you put Matt Damon for The Martian up against Eddie Redmayne for Danish Girl, who like plays extraordinarily as a transgender woman, or Michael Fassbender, who transforms into Steve Jobs, or Leonardo DiCaprio, who transforms into frontiersman Hugh Glass. Mark Damon, I feel like, comes up looking really slight and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
What did I say?
He said Mark Damon.
Mark Damon.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg. Any thoughts though?
I think it was more of like a comic role that he did. You know, it was kind of a role that he could put himself in, which is fine. I mean, it's a character that you can relate to, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked the story of it, definitely.
I love the story.
The story was great. Surviving, like, what he did, you know, as surviving on this planet, on Mars. I have nothing else to say, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ensemble, but the ensemble was fine too. I mean, you did have Matt Damon for a majority of the movie by himself on Mars, but you also, they would take you back down to Earth once in a while, and you would have a great ensemble like Jessica Chastain. Well, she was still up in Mars, but she wasn't with Matt Damon. But you had Jessica Chastain, you had Chiwetel Ejiofor, who was in 12 Years a Slave recently. He was good in this movie. You had Kristen Wiig. That was really cool to see Kristen Wiig.
That was really surprising.
And I think that helped bring to the comic relief of the film. Totally think it was wrong that the Golden Globes put it in the comedy category. It was so not a comedy.
Yeah,
like, a movie can be a drama and be funny from time to time, but Martian was totally not a comedy. And I don't know, I just see it was the way the Golden Globes, they rigged the system so that they could award Martian. Because if they put Martian in drama, it would have been really hard for Martian to win. So they put it in comedy because it's an easy win. But I just totally think that that's just like a sham. Like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
You know, because that's like rigged. Or
That's true.
it's I don't know what to call it. It's a scam or something. It was a fine film. Again, just like The Revenant, it was a visually stunning film, fantastic visual effects. The sound was incredible. I remember watching it in the theater, and I mean, the sound was incredible. You know, the noises that the film
it really made you like.
Yeah, it like really like wrapped myself up within the movie. And the production design also stunning with the set decoration. Like, I remember the opening scene. It opens up on Mars. That red was so vivid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the colors, it really stood out. And
I also liked how they got like right into it. You know, there was no like background
it wasn't
story.
a lead up.
There was no like subplot of like romance or anything. It was just him getting stuck on that planet and surviving and trying to get out. There was no other subplot to it. That was it.
I agree. The second the film started, you were already wrapped up in the situation. Well, not the situation, but you were already wrapped up in the event and the moment that it's about to happen. Yeah. And it's not like a lead-in. It's not like a slow lead-in where like, oh, Matt Damon starts off on Earth, like getting ready to do his mission. So that was cool that it took you right in the moment. And you know, just overall, The Martian was just a great film, visually stunning, and nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Actor. Yeah. Well, it looks like we are almost out of time. We have about 20 seconds left. It's been great talking with you, Ayesha. It's great that we're starting this.
Yeah.
And so we did the first 4 nominees. Next Thursday, 5:30, we're going to do the next 4 nominees for Best Picture. So be sure to tune into that.
Yes,
Max's Movie
join
Minute
us.
with Ayesha. Thank you guys so much. See you next
Bye.
week. Bye.